Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run through the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days as it is turning much colder over the course of the next 24 hours. Not seeing too much in terms of wintriness out there, a few wintry showers in the north, but the biggest issue will be it will feel a lot colder and those overnight temperatures will be dropping below freezing for perhaps 2, maybe 3 nights, so quite harsh frosts and potentially ice risk out there as well. However, as we head into next week, as we'll see from the GFS, GM, ECWF and the ensembles, we're likely to see a breakthrough of the westerlies once again, turning us more unsettled and slightly milder. However, we are starting to see hints, perhaps into early April, we would go colder once again. The GFS definitely hinting on its earliest runs today that we could see easterly or northerly winds returning with some more Atlantic ridging. Of course, being early April, there isn't that much cold air remaining, but it would be cold enough for temperatures probably to be in the high single digits. Overnight temperatures perhaps to drop below freezing and to give generally chilly conditions, not what we want to be seeing in early April. It is not concrete, there are still a lot of uncertainty within it, but majority of ensemble members are average to below average. We are seeing some anomalous runs like the GFS 12 o'clock run from yesterday that just shows some sort of heat wave approaching, but I wouldn't look too much into that as of yet. The majority are average to below average with generally unsettled conditions, perhaps northerly or easterly winds coming in if we did see some sort of block develop. So we'll have a look at that in the second half of the video. So you'll remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in description. So to start on the live radar, you can see there is an array of heavy showers around at the moment, nothing too torrential as I'm recording this around midday, but generally quite a few light to moderate showers pushing in. Again, we're in quite unstable air, so we're going to continue to see these over the course of the rest of the day. In the north, still rain showers, but these will turn more to snow over the course of this afternoon and evening as the cold air does sink in. And you can see some heavier rain in the far southwest. And this is an approaching low pressure system that's going to give some very heavy rain for England and Wales overnight tonight into tomorrow. Most of it should fall in overnight. In the night time, but it of course could drop a lot of rain overnight and could have some flooding issues in the morning in a few areas. It does look like quite a big little channel low developing again. A few months earlier with a bit of cold air in, this could be a big snow event. It's that sort of typical track just on the south coast with heavy rain inland. So you can see it's not too bad at the moment, but if you do catch these showers, it will, it won't be too pleasant out there. You can see across Europe as well, very showery theme. Again, pretty typical. We've got low pressure sat over the top of us, and it is clearing eastwards and then opening the door to northerly winds. Now, if you put on the temperatures, you'll be able to see it's generally average to above average today. A lot of yellows moving in, and again indicating temperatures in and around that sort of 13, 14, perhaps even 15 degree mark. Further northwards, cooler, and these blues and lighter blues will be developing more widely over the coming hours. Now, if we do move and have a look at the UKV for the precipitation and the temperature over the course of the next 5 days, you can see all those showers developing through today. They'll continue to pop up through the afternoon, and you can see that heavier rain in the far southwest pushing in, giving a lot of heavy rain through England and Wales overnight tonight through the early hours of the morning. Now around 7-8 a.m. it will still linger, should be lighter, but it should slowly start to clear. Around lunchtime it will clear all areas and it will be a little bit drier, but not too much brighter, with still a lot of cloud around. You can see in the north, snow showers starting to pack in for Scotland, but once again, we're going to see high pressure ridge in and topple over, therefore it's going to shut off those showers quite quickly. You can see through the rest of Sunday, it does turn drier for all, does see a bit of sunshine perhaps in the late afternoon for quite a few areas before we do start to see cold overnight conditions prevail under higher pressure with a very cold air mass. The same thing happens on Monday. It's going to be a very pleasant day, really, a lot of sunshine around, but it will have a cold feel, for we do see frost return into Tuesday before a weather front approaches through Tuesday morning. So you could wake up to a bit of frost if you're up early on Tuesday. If not, if you're up a bit later, you'll be seeing cloud and heavy rain approaching. Could be some snow over northern areas of the higher routes, but it should turn back to rain by the afternoon. And then look at this, southwesterly wind, a lot of moisture and mild air and big bouts of very heavy precipitation moving in. Could be some thundery precipitation within this as well. All these brighter colours mixing in. So very unsettled through the middle of the week. Again, no huge walls of rain. Doesn't look like it's going to rain all day, but when it does rain, it could be very heavy and really quite miserable out there. You could see the reason for this. If you look at the upper air temperature, you can see the changing air masses. We've got a generally average air mass at the moment, maybe slightly below average, but it's going to be turning a lot colder over the coming hours with all these darker blues spreading southwards. -10 isotherm moving in for northern areas by tomorrow evening. Again, indicating a very cold air mass. And again, if this came in winter time, in winter months, we'd be seeing temperatures, as I said, not getting much above freezing. But of course, being end of March, the sun strength and general ground temperatures are not allowing those temperatures to fall all too low. Now you can see the rest through the rest of Monday, we have that cold air mass still in place before it gets pushed away through Tuesday morning into the afternoon, and then we get replaced by quite a mild, warm air mass from the southwest, a good few degrees above average there, just powering those showers and giving a lot more moisture to the air. Now, if you look at the max temperatures, you can see this afternoon getting to perhaps 13 to 15 degrees, so nothing too crazy, but pretty decent. If we do move beyond that through Saturday night into Sunday, temperatures dropping much colder in Scotland, but further southwards, maybe only 5 or 6 degrees, and into Sunday afternoon, turning cooler for all, struggling to get much above 8 or 9 degrees for many areas, a lot colder further northwards. Into Sunday night, widespread frost developing, widely down towards freezing for most areas, apart from far south and southwest. We've got a bit more cloud mixing in. And into Monday, another chilly day, 6 to 8 degrees being the top temperature. And then again, a frost in the north and the east, again, all depending on how quickly the cloud comes in. That can change quite a bit at this time frame. So could be a widespread frost there, or could be isolated frost patches in clearer skies. And then into Tuesday afternoon, it does take a while for that milder air to get to the surface. So in the day, cloud, rain, and even though upper air temperatures are turning warmer, at the surface it's really going to be chilly still, 6 or 7 degrees, really not great for the time of year. Beyond that, into Wednesday, again, a bit milder, 13, 14, maybe 15 degrees, and that will happen again into Thursday, where we have generally milder air masses prevailing. But as I said, as we'll see on the GFS in a minute, might not be mild for all too long, with perhaps sustained colder or at least below average conditions into early April. So if you do now have a look at the GFS and see what that is showing over the course of the next couple of weeks, again you can see the northerly wind coming at the moment, pretty cold, chilly air mass pushing in, overnight frosts and a few wintry showers in the north. However, southwesterly winds push in, giving us very unsettled and potentially even stormy conditions there by Friday into the last day of March. Again, uncertain exactly how that low does develop, but if it did get to that severity in that position, I wouldn't be surprised if that actually did get named. As it does clear, ridge of high pressure builds in the Atlantic up towards Iceland and Greenland, and we go into a northerly flow once again. That high pressure stays out to our north and our east, and we start to see easterly winds develop through the first week of April, keeping us very cold and sustained cold weather as well, before high pressure topples within that colder air mass, giving really harsh late season overnight frosts. Again, we look at the raw upper air temperatures. The -5 isotherm moves in through next weekend, and it sticks around really. We could see briefly milder air there where the low wraps in, before more colder air drifts in. We stay in that very cold air mass all the way to around the 10th of April. Again, even more well emphasised on the potential equivalent temperatures. Darker blues spreading in, briefly milder conditions there for those darker blues spread in once again, giving us very cold conditions. And again, look at the temperature deviation. Look at all of northwestern Europe in these thick, darker blues, indicating a good 5 or 6 degrees below average for all, getting as low as maybe -10 degrees, or 10 degrees below average in some areas of France, down into the Mediterranean. So a very cold plunge there into the first week of April. Very interesting seeing that. Of course, not all runs are following along at the moment. It still is quite uncertain, but perhaps this is a theme we're starting to see appearing. If you look at the GEM, again, low pressure moving through, northerly winds push in, or eventually southwesterlies move in, and again you can see that quite strong low pressure system, but it's not quite as localised and as deep with those isobars as tight, so perhaps wind warnings issued for that, but maybe no name storm. Beyond that, we do see that Atlantic ridging, but it's not quite as strong as the GFS was showing, but still in between sort of weather systems and generally cool or slightly below average air masses moving in. You look at upper air temperatures, blues perhaps trying to get in from the northeast, so nothing crazy cold, generally average there, so perhaps slightly below average if we did get that cold air starting to drift in, which is probably likely with a ridge of high pressure up towards Iceland and Greenland. They're trying to push in more of a north or northeasterly. So similar overall patterns to the GFS, but slightly different orientation and strength of high pressure, low pressure, meaning it's sort of in between air masses, no real distinct colder or milder signal, generally around average. Still though, it wouldn't be particularly pleasant out there with under low pressure. There would still be clouds, a lot of clouds and rain around, so it probably would feel cool and below average. If we do look at the ECMWF, low clears out to our east, northerly winds push in, and eventually we see that southwesterly flow. Again, picking up that low pressure system on the jet stream, really need to keep a close eye on this. It doesn't get as severe, but it would be quite a big little low pressure system that does have very strong winds and heavy rain. Maybe not a named storm though. Yeah, it would probably need to get a little bit deeper than that with the stronger winds. Beyond that though, look what happens. We see high pressure build up towards Scandinavia and we attempt easterly winds. Now the air mass to our east isn't that cold, but regardless, it's average to below average. It'd be pretty chilly. Look at the temperature deviation. Blues moving in, nothing too distinct at this stage, but still average to below average. So GFS definitely was very cold. It was down sort of 5 to maybe 10 degrees below average. Both the GM and Eastern WF don't pull off the same sort of pattern, but a very similar pattern in terms of blocking in the North Atlantic or up towards Scandinavia and Greenland, both trying to put in some sort of northerly or easterly wind and not really getting much above average. So below average conditions for both. They're not severely cold by any means, no snow, anything like that. Maybe not even any frosts, but generally cooler conditions, miserable conditions from both the GEM and Eastern WF. So if you do weigh up the three main models, it's not looking particularly good for the first week of April. Definitely looking average to below average and generally chilly, probably quite rainy as well under lower pressure. Now, if you finish by looking at the ensembles, now the ensembles haven't fully updated from the GFS, but out to about the 6th or 7th, so going towards a reliable time frame. You can see the colder dip over the next sort of 24 to 48 hours, and we go generally a little bit milder for the last few days of March. Very unsettled as well, with those lows moving in. However, as we head towards early April, for some reason the 1981-2010 mean line does disappear. Don't know exactly why that has happened, but if we do extrapolate that out, you can see for the foreseeable future for the first week of April, we're average to below average in London. You can see the operational run there is well below average, along with quite a few other ensemble members as well. There are others that do go milder, but the consensus is definitely average to below average, potentially quite chilly conditions prevailing. Again, look at the dew points, definitely trending more towards the low single digits, not really getting much below freezing, so probably no risk of anything too wintry, apart from the north, maybe the GFS operational run having a few wintry showers, but the majority would just be cold rain, temperatures in the mid to high single digits, not particularly pleasant at all, and you can see that on the 2 metre temperatures. Cooler the next few days, responding to around 13 or 14 degrees next week. Then as we head towards the early part of April, you can see the majority of ensemble members around that 8 to 10 degree range. So pretty chilly indeed. And of course, that is taking into account milder runs as well, for those getting up towards 15 degrees or so. So we will have to see what happens with that. And finally, if we have a look at the ECMWF ensembles, similar, not exactly the same in the longer term, but similar. We've got colder air mass coming in over the next few days, average to above average, and then we trend more towards average and just stick around average for the foreseeable future through the first week of April. So no real distinct signal. There are milder runs, there are colder runs from the ECMWF ensembles, but nothing too distinct at this stage. So it's still very uncertain for early April, but I would be leaning more towards a cooler, perhaps even colder, unsettled start, perhaps with even northerly or easterly winds pushing in. Again, I wouldn't count it out. It's probably quite likely this year with the sudden stratospheric warming that did occur almost 2 months ago now, back into the earlier part of February. So by the time this occurs, almost 2 months of 8 weeks, just showing you how an SSW really can have a big effect on the rest of winter and into spring as well. Nowhere near as cold as we saw in 2018, but again, another sign that SSW really does have quite a big impact over our weather as we head into spring. So anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. Praying for seeing a little bit more warmer and drier weather. Even colder lovers would probably agree that it's time for it to warm up a little bit, and to see something a little bit drier and warmer. Any warmer conditions we have at the moment are always associated with a warm sector within a low pressure system. So yes, it might be 15, 16 degrees for a time, but rain and cloud is never too far away. So hopefully soon we'll see something a little bit drier and warmer into April, but perhaps we're going to have to wait until maybe mid-April from the signs of these latest runs. So anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.